had very religious parents who gave me no sex ed so I'd wait until marriage, and as a result I got pregnant at 17. I caught it early and went through a clinic who made me an appointment to get an abortion, but said I should ask someone to drive me home afterwards. The father dumped me when I told him, so I asked my sister if she would drive me but not tell our parents because they'd told us both that if we ever got an abortion they'd disown us. I asked her about a week in advance. She agreed. But a few days later she got in trouble with our parents over curfew and decided to tell them about me to get herself out of trouble. I found out what she'd done when our parents woke me up at 3 a.m. telling me to get out of their house. My brother lived about an hour away, and I called him, and he came and got me. When the time came for the appointment I couldn't do it, and my brother and his boyfriend said that now I was living with them I had options. It had been an emotional couple of weeks, and I should take some time to think about it. I decided to keep it. My son is now 11. I got married March last year, and in January of this year I gave birth to a baby girl. My sister has reached out to me on my birthday every year since I was kicked out. Yesterday was my 29th birthday and her 12th attempt. Every year she says the same thing. She's sorry, but she didn't realize I'd be kicked out and they would have found out eventually. And then a request to meet my son, my partner, and this year my daughter, too. I've ignored every attempt so far. I have blocked her every year, but she's making new accounts solely to message me and I need social media and an email account for my line of work so I can't get rid of it. This year, however, her message was a lot more emotional than previous years, and she basically said that she doesn't know how anyone can hold a grudge for over a decade and called me an arsehole for never even acknowledging I'd seen her messages, but said she'd keep sending them anyway in the hopes I learned to move past it. I called my brother and read it to him. He forgave her about 5 years ago, and he sides with her and has said that enough's enough and I have to speak to her, even if it's to tell her to go to hell, because she will keep sending these messages and never getting a response. And she's distraught over the idea of me never forgiving her over one mistake when she was 20, and he told me that she's trying to make it up to me and I have to stop shutting her out. AITA for not wanting to talk to her. Story 2. Me and my ex-GF, Haley, have one daughter, 15, female, L. I genuinely don't know if I was right to do what I did. Around 4 years ago, Haley had a very bad accident that ended with her being wheelchair-bound. This caused her to develop a lot of resentment towards me. She would get angry if I worked out or played any sports. So, I stopped doing anything physical mostly. We tried counseling for a year, and things didn't improve. In the end, we broke up. Ever since Elle was born, I took out a private insurance for me, Elle and Haley. This helped out a lot when she had her accident. Post-breakup, I still kept her in my insurance because she couldn't find any work and I knew if I dropped her from the insurance, she wouldn't be able to afford any treatments. It's been 2 years since then. We have 50-50 custody, so I don't pay any child support. In the beginning, I kept a very keen eye to make sure that she didn't resent Elle like she resented me. She didn't, so I relaxed. She is still on that insurance because she is not able to find any job except welfare. I wanted both Haley and Elle to be well, so I kept the insurance. Half a year ago, when Elle came to stay, I noticed that she was very depressed and had gotten very fat compared to before. Nothing overweight, but Elle does ballet and I have never seen her put on that much weight. Turns out Haley forbade Elle from doing ballet because Haley used to do ballet and Elle is just trying to rub her face in it. The same for any physical activities like sports or exercising. With the quarantine, it must have been hell to live like that. Elle pretty much broke down and said that for the past few months, things have been escalating to the point that she is scared to walk inside her own house. She just stays in her room and comes out only to eat. Elle just begged me to go to court so that I can get full custody. Elle is at an age where her opinion matters in court, but it's almost impossible to get 100% custody in my state unless I can prove incompetency, according to my lawyer. So, I dropped her from the insurance. Elle was supposed to stay with me for the next 6 months. Haley couldn't get a job. She wiped out her savings as she had to pay for all her treatments. It was getting to the point that she couldn't even afford to get basic things for herself, let alone Elle. I also applied for sole custody. Given her financial situation and the pandemic and Elle's preference, the judge gave me full custody with supervised visitation for Haley. Haley didn't have a good representation at court due to her financial situation. Also, there is a pandemic going on. I left an already vulnerable person without any medical insurance. I know I did what I had to do to protect my child, but I did so by taking advantage of the medical expenses of a disabled woman. Elle is happy. Haley obviously thinks I am a manipulative bastard. Everyone seems to have mixed opinions. AITA here. Also, dropping her from my insurance was completely legal. I am not from US. Story 3. Throwaway account. Also please excuse my English, I'm not a native speaker. Some background info: I have disabled daughter Molly with my ex-girlfriend Sarah. This all started 12 years ago. Me and Sarah were together for about 4 years and we were trying to have a baby. After a couple weeks of trying she got pregnant, and we were super exited. Unfortunately, in her 4th month doctors told us that our baby is severely disabled and advised us to get an abortion. It was very hard on us. We started arguing a lot because Sarah wanted to keep the baby and I didn't. I said I don't want to spend my whole life taking care of a child and throw everything away, but Sarah didn't want to kill the baby. We argued about this every day. Eventually it became too much and we broke up. We still kept in contact with each other as friends. Couple months later she went into labor. I came into the hospital with her to support her. As the doctors said Molly was born severely disabled, they kept her in the hospital for a couple of weeks and then gave her to Sarah. She took her to her house and I visited them couple times. Within the next months I got a job offer and moved away to another city. Me and Sarah are still in contact and I send them money every month, but we meet each other very rarely. So now Molly is 11 years old. She is bound to a wheelchair and will never walk. She has a mind of a 3-year-old and can't speak. Sarah left everything to take care of her. She is at home with her 24/7 because Molly is unable to do anything on her own. They get state contributions since Sarah can't go to work and I send them money. I have a wife now and 2 daughters and we live about 4 hours drive away from Sarah. Sarah has called me last week saying that it's too much on her. She said she does nothing else than take care of Molly and she is tired. She gave up on her career, Bobby's, friends and everything. She asked me to start taking care of Molly as well. She asked if I could have her in my care at least 1 week every 2 months in the beginning, and after I know how to take care of her then maybe more often. I talked about it with my wife, and we both agreed we don't want to take care of Molly. I apologized to Sarah and instead I offered to pay for a professional to take care of her or to pay some facility to take her in, but Sarah refused. She doesn't want a stranger to take care of Molly nor put her away in a facility. I feel really bad for Sarah, but I have a responsibility to my 2 daughters and my wife now. I talked about it with my parents and they understand and don't blame me, but I feel like I might be taught. Edit. Comments got disabled and I can't respond to anything. If you want to ask me or give judgments you send a direct message. Story 4. I have a sister who's getting married next year. Just last week she asked me to be her maid of honor, and I said I wouldn't be able to do it, but thank you for the offer. Now she's upset. She wanted 6 bridesmaids and her maid of honor, and as her only sister, she said she wanted me to do it. After that conversation, she ran and told our mom, who asked me why I would say no to something like that, and I told her it was not something I felt I could take on at this time. The truth is I would never be her maid of honor or bridesmaid in a million years. She will use me and her other bridesmaids in other ways to make us look awful so she can look better. She did it once. I was 15 and she was turning 18 and she decided to have this huge party that was even bigger than her 16th and her 21st. She made me wear this dress chosen by her that was ugly. It was ruffles and unflattering to my body shape and she did that so she could look better. She did the same with her 2 best friends who were in all the photos with her. She is planning to do the same thing for her wedding. I already know this and I won't pay for a dress that makes me look awful. I won't do my hair in a way that makes it look awful. I won't wear makeup that doesn't compliment me just for her. I made that mistake once for a family wedding. She did my makeup and hair and I will never forget how embarrassed I was. I don't want to give this reason because they will say I am overreacting. But our cousin, who got married the time I mentioned above, even told she knew it was done intentionally because she used to do it to her too. They're the same age and went to school together and she messed up her prom makeup so she would look better than our cousin. AITA for saying no to being my sister's maid of honor. I decided to edit this because I am starting to struggle a bit, and this is bringing up bad memories for me. I am reflecting on what I want moving forward and what is best. Most people have said I am NTA, but quite a few say I suck for not caring more about my sister and not putting the past behind us and letting her have her day. And I know I can't do that. I can't forever be THD fat sister who gets reminded of it every time her wedding comes up, both before and after her big day. All I have ever been is the fat sister, the one who looked ridiculous at her birthday, the one who was the joke between 4 different people for weeks after her cousin's wedding because she trusted her sister had grown. I can't stand the thought of standing next to a person who has called me her fat sister to my face, and who has said it to others directly in front of me. The truth is I used to hate myself. I have felt gross and ugly most of my life, and I am finally in a better place, and this is dragging me back down.